when you become adult after 18 or when you start your sexual journey, it's very important that you see your gynae at least once in a year. Even if you don't have a problem, just to discuss your sexual health, reproductive health, and physical health. Our eating habits have changed drastically. Our processed food, lot of sugar, salt in our diet, and sedentary lifestyle. The weight gain is a very common thing. So that has triggered, the weight is the main problem for hormonal imbalance.
Senior obstetrician and gynecologist at Kokila Bean Ambani Hospital. Our guest today on the Settle or Be Better podcast is Dr. Vaishali Joshi, who's going to be talking to us about women's health, gynecology checkups, HPV vaccine, and a lot more. So welcome, Dr. Vaishali, and over to you. Why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about your personal health and well-being story and your current work?
Thank you very much for my introduction. I am at this point of time 52, but I think it's what is important is age is a number, and mentally how young you are, and to keep your physical health to your mental health, obviously you have to make sure that you have regular checkups, and we have that inhibition that going to a gynaec meaning it's a big event. So that kind of fear or anxiety we need to get over. And I've been practicing in the women's health field for last 24 years. I have international experience in UK and now at Kokila Bean Ambani, where I'm there for last 5 years, and practicing in Bombay for 12 years. So I can vouch for it that it's very important for us as a woman. We need to take initiative. We need to go and make sure that our health is good. And it should start right at the beginning.
Absolutely. That's well said. Thank you for that introduction. We are so glad to have you on the podcast today because it's about time that we feel much more comfortable about gynecology visits and have more friendly doctors like you around, so who make us feel more safe and comfortable for the visits, right? So thank you so much, and I can't wait to dive deep into our episode today. And to begin with, how frequently do you think that women should schedule their gynecology checkups on a regular basis, even if you feel like you're fine, you're fitish sometimes, but how frequently should we have our checkups done?
Actually, the checkups should start very early on. There is meaning even in adolescence, one should see gynaec. Maybe you can accompany your mother's gynaec, and then when you become adult after 18 or when you start your sexual journey, it's very important that you see your gynaec at least once in a year. Obviously, as we advance in our age, our needs increases, but minimum once in a year gynecological visit is recommended internationally. Even if you don't have a problem, just to discuss your sexual health, reproductive health, and physical health.
Right, of course. That was well explained. Thank you for sharing that. And it's true, definitely we need to schedule regular checkups because we might get a blood work done as well a little frequently now because of the awareness, but rarely hear your women friends saying, I have my gynaec checkup today. It's very rare. If in case people have hormonal issues, then that becomes regular, but it's really about time that we do have these and we become comfortable with these as well. And also, today a lot of women are going through so many hormonal issues, like PCOD, thyroid, and at a very young age. Like I have friends in their very early 20s as well are facing major symptoms of these. It's affecting their mental health as well, so it's happening a lot earlier these days, even into early 20s, right? So what are the reasons and can lifestyle factors change it for us?
I think there is a silent epidemic going on with hormonal problems in women, and it is all stems down to our lifestyle. Our eating habits have changed drastically. Our processed food, lot of sugar, salt in our diet, and sedentary lifestyle, particularly for a young girl who is like when they study for their exam 10, 12, then suddenly the physical exercises goes, and then with the peer pressure and obviously the fast food and outside food is tasty, so the weight gain is a very common thing. So that has triggered, the weight is the main problem for hormonal imbalance. Then thyroid is also because of some deficiencies in our diet. So all this has an impact on our reproductive health. Then it's again weight gain gives rise to negative body image, isolation, depression. So the mental health problem come across. Sometimes you get bullied because of that. So all these are intertwined, and it's very important that we look at this problem holistically. I think so. Lifestyle changes will make a lot of difference to this, and this I believe that it should be started right at the very beginning when you are going having that transition from adolescence to adulthood, because these are the habits if you inculcate in your day-to-day routine, then your physical health is sorted and then everything will fall in place.
Absolutely well said. And just like you said, it's true that women, we need to understand that we are deeply emotional beings, and not in a negative sense, like not like we have mood swings or stuff like that. We really are sensitive to a lot of things in our life, and we feel things much more deeply than men considered in many situations, right? And that definitely does affect our hormone health. I mean, it's a major connection, correct me if I'm wrong. And today it's great that we see so much awareness around mental health as well, and many doctors also would talk about this when someone would come in with a hormonal dysfunction or some disorder that they have, that they would also address their mental health issues or their conditions, their surroundings. And it's really important today, as much as diet and your nutrition and your exercise matters, because we really feel things on a deeper level, and if we don't realize that, it can manifest in our bodies in so many kind of disorders, right? So thank you
Yes.
for sharing that. And so also a lot of women are facing so many issues with period health as well, and a lot of women go through heavy periods, heavy menstrual cycles. Is that normal? Because I don't think, of course, it's very individual to the person. Everybody has a different cycle, the days as well, and also the flow, everything. But what according to you is normal and what is not, and in which condition should we really go to the doctor and consult what's going on with our body? I mean, is having heavy flow normal, or is cramping too much on 3 days of your period normal, or can these be addressed better?
I think, as you said, it is very, very individualized what is normal. But overall, in our textbooks, we say a woman having period at an interval of every 30-35 days, having a flow for 5 to 7 days, maybe a little bit more in the beginning and then tailing off. These can be normal periods. So when these periods go out of this normalcy, then obviously you need to look into it. So changing pad every 2 hourly is obviously it's a heavy period. Or if the flow is so much that it restricts your day-to-day activity, you have to bunk school, then that's need to be addressed, because it is affecting your quality of life. And these problems are more commonly, particularly in young women, are because of PCOS, that is polycystic ovarian syndrome, or hormonal imbalance. Sometimes there can be fibroids. These are just a muscle tumors to the uterus, and the pain can be because of different things. It can be because of fibroids. It can be endometriosis. So I think if these kind of issues are happening recurrently, then I would see a gynec and investigate and try to address these issues so that you have a good, healthy reproductive life.
Absolutely. And this another major concern when it comes to period health is it has become so common to at least, one time of your period, you would end up taking painkiller. I mean, a lot of my friends also, of course, if you have your long working hours and you feel like you're cramping, experience heavy pain, right? Then they just end up taking painkillers. But correct me if I'm wrong, that should harm your reproductive health in the long term, and of course, so many other things that it does, so many other harms that it does to your body. But is it okay to take a painkiller during your periods, or is there something on a deeper level that you need to address?
So as I said, if you definitely having a mild discomfort during the period is absolutely fine. It is so much so that is affecting your day-to-day routine, then and you need take painkiller every month, then it is needs to be looked into, needs to be investigated, and try to treat the root cause of that problem.
Right.
Sometimes after investigation, if there is nothing found, and then taking one-off painkiller, I would say that's okay. But still, you should not get used to this routine. So the crux of the thing is you have to investigate, you see the doctor and follow the doctor's advice.
Absolutely. And as women, we are highly intuitive as well, right? Like, we know our body shows signs, our body never lies. And if we pay attention to that, a lot of of things can be addressed so much quicker. So thank you for sharing that with us. And also another thing that we will be discussing today is the HPV vaccine. It's something that has come to awareness, just in the last couple of years, a lot more, because of a few brands who have been talking, highly about it, have been working on spreading the awareness. Because even some of my friends in their early 20s would not know what it is, or even my mom did not know about it, because I don't know how much time it has been since the vaccine has been in the market or has been recommended, because I feel like it's recent that not many people know about it. So, just to begin with, what is the HPV vaccine for, and women of what ages should consider taking it?
So actually, HPV is like human papilloma virus vaccine. Is around in the world for last, I would say, maybe more than 15 years. In India, the awareness has increased recently, and the recent in years, 1 year back, Government of India has introduced as a part of universal immunization program. The main thing goes is the World Health Organization, who wants to push this, because the purpose of vaccine is to prevent cervical cancer in women and men as well. I think very few people know that it can be given to the men also. HPV infection is a sexually transmitted infection, and that is known to be the one of the most important cause for cervical cancer. So what this vaccine does is gives woman immunity, or a person in immunity, to fight it off. It is very effective if it is given to young men and women who haven't started sexual journey, because they will be equipped to get rid of this virus if they happen to catch it in future.